Hello friends, welcome back to lecture series of biogenesis. In the end of the last lectures, I have discussed about the basics about the active and the passive transports. In that I have just mentioned the what are the differences between the active and the passive transport. Mainly active transport is a energy dependent process. For this cells has to spend some energy, whereas for the passive transport it is a energy independent process. Cell does not require to spend any energy. So for today lecture I would be discussing the passive transport. It's a energy independent process and it could be of two types. One is simple diffusion and another is the facilitated diffusions. For the simple diffusions, driving force is just a concentration difference of that molecules across the plasma membrane, and it's a random process and it's a non-specific movement, and here there will be no involvement of transport protein. Means simple diffusion is transport protein independent process, and the rate of diffusion is directly dependent on the concentration difference of that particular molecules. And the simple diffusion simply follows the Fick's law. If I want to draw the graph, you can see that it's a straight line and it's a non-saturable curve. This curve is never going to saturate. But when I discuss about the facilitated diffusions, as the name suggests, this diffusion will help by some transport proteins. That's why we are calling as a facilitated diffusions. That is with the help of transport proteins, and those transport proteins could be the carrier or the channels. And it's a specific movement, and it allows the movement of polar and charged molecules. And it follows the Michaelis-Menten law, just like an enzyme activity. When you want to draw the graph between the rate of diffusion and the concentration difference, after some time this curve will become saturate. This follows the Michaelis-Menten law. So now we will discuss about the facilitated diffusion, which could be the carrier or the channel mediated transport. Facilitated diffusions means with the help of transport protein. This diffusion is facilitated by the transport protein. That's why we are calling as a facilitated diffusions. And these transport proteins could be of two types. So this type of diffusion could be either carrier mediated, could be the carrier mediated, or it could be the channel mediated. Could be the channel mediated. So first I will discuss about the channel mediated facilitated diffusions. This channel forms open pore across the plasma membrane. Forms open pore across plasma membrane. Suppose this is the plasma membrane. So this is a channel, and through this there will be the movement of the molecules. It forms an open pore across the plasma membrane, and it's a fast diffusions. It's a fast diffusions, as well as it also act as a selective filter. It also act as a selective filter. Means these channels will allow all movement of some specific ions. Suppose this channel is for potassium, so it will not allow the movement of magnesium. Like that, they are calling channels as a selective filters. This is very, very important point, selective filters. Now, these channels mediated could be either ionic channels, or non-ionic channels. For the ionic channels, these channels will allow the movement of ions. Means allow the movement or diffusion of ions. Allow the movement of ions. But the most important thing is that non-ionic channels means it allow movement of non-ionic molecules. Non-ionic molecules like water, glycerol. And the best example of non-ionic channel is the aquaporine. This aquaporine is very, very important, and I would be taking this aquaporine lectures in the next coming lectures. So channels mediators means facilitated diffusions with the help of channels, and it forms an open pore across the plasma membrane which allows the movement of the molecules, and it's a fast diffusion, and it acts as a selective filters. And this could be of ionic channels or non-ionic channels. Ionic channels means it allows the movement of ions. For the non-ionic channels, it allows the movement of non-ionic channels like water or glycerol, and the most important is the aquaporine. So now we will discuss about the carrier mediated diffusions. Now we will discuss about the carrier mediated diffusions. When I say the carrier mediated facilitated diffusions, it means that it is mediated through carrier. It is mediated through carrier. In this, I would be discussing two examples. One is the glucose transporter. Means this is the carrier proteins which helps in the transport of glucose. Okay, so this glucose transporter is the transmembrane proteins. As I have discussed that all the carriers are the transmembrane proteins. So these glucose transporter are the multi-pass transmembrane proteins. So it will span the membrane 12 times. It is going to span the membrane 12 times. So, and number of amino acid, this is a GLUT. It is also called as GLUT. It is made up of 500 amino acid, and it's a transmembrane proteins, and it spans the membrane 12 times. Another important thing is that it helps in the unidirectional movement of the glucose. So it helps in the unidirectional movement of the glucose molecules. In this N and C both will be the cytosolic, and you are having a glucose molecules here. So it helps in the movement of the glucose in unidirection. So we are called as it's a uniporter. It's a uniporter transport. These glucose molecules interact with the glucose transporter with the help of non-covalent interactions. So interactions between glucose and the glucose transporter will be the non-covalent. And most important thing is that this glucose transporter is the stereospecific, means it only allows the D form of glucose to pass. It will not going to allow the L form of glucose to pass across this transporter. So we are calling as this glucose transporter as a stereospecific. So this is the stereospecific transport. This group or glucose transporter have a various isoforms. They have a various isoforms. They have a various isoforms like GLUT1, GLUT2, GLUT3, GLUT5. It is present on plasma membrane of RBC. One is present on the plasma membrane of RBC. GLUT2 is present on plasma membrane of liver cell. GLUT3 is present on plasma membrane of brain cell. And GLUT5 is present on plasma membrane of a small intestine. One more important point about the GLUT4. It is directly not present on the plasma membrane, but it is present in the form of vesicles. It is present in the forms of vesicles. In the forms of vesicles. Once you give the insulin, these GLUT molecules which are present in the form of vesicles will go and fuse on the membrane, and your GLUT4 will comes on the epithelial cell, and it will help in the transport of the glucose after the action of insulin. Otherwise, all 1, 2, 3 and 5 is directly present on the plasma membrane of various cells, but GLUT4 is present in the form of vesicles. Initially, it is present in the form of vesicles. Once you give the insulin, this vesicle will go and fuse with the membrane. So this is the carrier mediated facilitated diffusions. First example I have discussed about the glucose transporter, which is also called as GLUT. It's a multi-pass transmembrane proteins. It spans the membrane 12 times. Both N and C is cytosolic, and it's a uniporter, means it allows the movement of glucose in one direction, and it's a stereospecific, means it allows the only D form of glucose to pass, not the L form of glucose. And the interaction between glucose and the GLUT transporter is the non-covalent interactions. And they have various isoforms 1, 2, 3 and 5 and 4. So another example I am going to discuss about the carrier mediated facilitated diffusions, and that example is the anion exchange protein. Anion exchanger or chloride or bicarbonate exchanger, both are same. So another examples regarding carrier mediated second example is the chloride bicarbonate exchanger. Chloride bicarbonate exchanger. This is also called as anion exchanger. In the previous lectures I have discussed anion exchanger. Another name of this transporter is the band 3 protein. Very important. Band 3 protein. So you can call chloride bicarbonate exchanger as a band 3 protein also, or anion exchanger. As the name suggests, it's allowed the exchange of anions. So since it gives the anion exchanger, so it's an anti-Porter transport. It's a anti-Porter transport. And since it's a carrier, so this carrier, it will be always a transmembrane proteins. So if I want to draw the chloride bicarbonate exchanger, I will just draw like this. You are having a plasma membrane, and on the plasma membranes you are having a transmembrane protein, which is the nothing but the chloride bicarbonate exchanger. Both N and C is cytosolic, and it is a transmembrane protein and it spans the membrane 14 times. Earlier group 1 was spanning the membrane 12 times, but this which spans the membrane 14 times. It's an anti-Porter, right? So there will be the movement of two molecules in the opposite directions, and that two molecules are the chloride and bicarbonate ions. This is present on the plasma membrane of RBC. So it's a bicarbonate and here is a chloride. So it helps in the exchange of chloride and bicarbonate ions, and it is present on the plasma membrane of RBC. It is present on plasma membrane of RBC, and it's an antipode and it's an electroneutral transport. Very important. It's a electroneutral transport. Means there will be no net gain or loss of charge. We are exchanging one molecules of chloride with the one molecules of bicarbonate ion, so it is called as a electroneutral transport. So it's a chloride bicarbonate exchanger. You can also call as an anion exchanger or band 3 proteins. It is present on the plasma membrane of RBC, and it's an anti-Porter transport. Means movement of chloride and the bicarbonate in the opposite directions, and it's a electroneutral transport. So this is all about the facilitated diffusions. Now I will just make one flow chart so that you can easily remember the things, which are the carriers mediated, which are the channels mediated. So suppose, passive transport. If I start with the passive transport, it is of two types. One is simple diffusion, and another is the facilitated diffusion. Here there is no transport proteins, no transport protein. Here there will be the involvement of transport proteins, and those transport proteins could be either carrier, so it could be carrier mediated, or channels mediated. Channel mediated. And the example of carrier mediated is the glute and chloride bicarbonate exchanger. This channel mediated could be either ionic channels, and non-ionic channels, And the example of non-ionic channels is the aquaporine. So passive transport, simple or facilitated. In the simple diffusion, there will be no transportine, whereas in the facilitated diffusions, it could be a carrier or a channel mediated. Carrier example will be the glute and the chloride and bicarbonate exchanges. Channels mediated either will be the ionic channels or non-ionic channels, and the best example of non-ionic channel is the aquaporine. So this aquaporine I will be taking in the next lectures, and this is very, very important. That is all about the passive transport. I hope everyone have liked this video. Please like and subscribe our channels, and please also go through all the videos of biogenesis, which is also given by the Rishabh Kaushik. Thank you very much.